Hey guys, tonight we begin with ... The sound of creaking wood, a slamming door, and the unmistakable stench of spilled ale mixed with sweat that hasn't seen soap since last year's harvest festival. Yeah, welcome to your new favorite nightmare, a medieval tavern, and not the Disney kind with a clean bar and cheerful songs. No. You're stepping into a place where lice have a higher survival rate than people, and where the stew has been bubbling since, well, nobody remembers when it started. The moment you push through the heavy oak door, the air feels thick, like it wants to wrestle your lungs. Smoke curls up from the hearth, clogging the rafters until the whole ceiling looks like it hasn't breathed since the Crusades. The floor is sticky, and you're already regretting your shoes. Don't even look down. Whatever that is clinging to your boots, you don't want to know. Just keep moving. You feel eyes on you. Rough, suspicious, eyes that have seen more fights than weddings. The regulars don't like strangers, especially ones who look too clean. And that's you, by the way. You might not think you look clean, but compared to the guy gnawing on a bone in the corner with 3 teeth and a beard that looks like it's plotting rebellion, you're basically royalty. Oi, who's this then? Someone grunts from the back. You freeze, heart pounding like you've just been accused of witchcraft. But before you can answer, the tavern explodes in laughter. Not the polite kind, but the sort that smells of malice and stale onions. The barkeep slams down a tankard in front of you. It's frothing with something that might technically qualify as beer, but honestly, it looks like someone wrung out a monk's robe after Lent. First drinks on the house, he says, which sounds generous, until you realize this isn't kindness, it's a test. You either drink it, or you don't belong here. And trust me, not belonging in a medieval tavern is more dangerous than drinking what looks like fermented pond water. So you raise it to your lips, and oh boy, the taste hits you like a mule kick. Imagine vinegar married regret, and their child grew up in a barrel of damp hay. That's what medieval ale tastes like. You cough, sputter, and the crowd laughs again. But this time, it's not cruel. This time, you've passed the test. You're in. The music picks up in the corner, a lute strumming something halfway between a ballad and a bad idea. A couple of drunks slam their fists on the table in rhythm, and the whole room feels alive with chaos. You realize you're in the beating heart of medieval nightlife. Forget castles and knights. This is where the real stories were told. Deals made, secrets whispered. Sometimes throats slit. Your eyes adjust to the dim light, and now you start noticing the details. That scarred man at the far table. He's wearing a soldier's cloak, but he hasn't seen a battlefield in years. He's here for one reason, to forget. The woman leaning against the wall with a sly smile. Don't get fooled, she's not here for company, she's here for information. And that drunk asleep in his stew. Yeah, he might just be the wealthiest man in the village, but you'd never know it. That's the thing about taverns. They were more than watering holes. They were theaters of human misery, comedy, and survival. If you wanted to hear gossip about the king, or trade your last chicken for a rumor about a haunted forest, this was the place. And now, whether you like it or not, you're part of it. The barkeep leans close, lowering his voice so only you can hear. Keep your head down, friend. You don't want to get noticed tonight. Noticed by who? You glance around, suddenly aware that not everyone here is laughing. In the far shadowed corner, 2 men sit silent, their eyes sharp, their hands too steady for drunkards. They're watching, waiting, for what, you don't know. You shift uncomfortably, and the barkeep gives a quick shake of his head, warning you not to stare. You take another sip, God's help you, and pretend to laugh along with the others. But now, the air feels heavier. That's when you realize something. This tavern isn't just a place to drink, it's a stage. And everyone here is playing a role. Some roles are harmless, others, deadly. The lute player strikes up a faster tune, and a fight breaks out near the fireplace. 2 men wrestling over a bone, or maybe a woman, or maybe both. Chairs crash, someone cheers, and the barkeep doesn't even blink. This is normal. This is Tuesday. But your attention keeps drifting back to that corner. The silent men, their eyes, like knives. And the way everyone else in the tavern seems to deliberately avoid looking at them, then it happens. One of them raises his hand, just slightly, and the entire room falls quiet. Music stops. Fists freeze mid-swing. Even the drunks pretending to sleep snap awake. You don't know who these men are. But you know one thing. They're not just customers. They're here for something else. And if the barkeep's warning is true, whatever's about to happen, you don't want to be in the spotlight when it does. The silence stretches, heavy as stone. Then the man in the corner finally speaks. His voice is calm, measured, almost polite. "We're looking for someone," he says. And then, unbelievably, his eyes land on you. The entire tavern turns to follow his gaze. Every laugh dies. Every breath seems to hold. The barkeep mutters something under his breath that sounds suspiciously like a prayer. And in that frozen moment, you realize you've just walked into something much bigger than a night of cheap ale and bad stew. The question is, what exactly have you walked into? The kind of silence that doesn't feel like silence at all. It feels like the air itself is holding its breath, waiting to see who survives the next 5 minutes. Every pair of eyes in that tavern is locked on you. And suddenly, that lukewarm ale in your hand doesn't feel like a drink anymore. It feels like evidence. The man in the corner doesn't move much, but he doesn't have to. He has that quiet authority that says he's done more in his life than drink beer and complain about taxes. His cloak is travel-stained, but the blade at his hip gleams sharp, and his eyes, well, let's just say they're not the kind that miss details. "We're looking for someone," he repeats, his voice cutting through the smoky haze like a knife. "And I think we've found them." Your brain does a panicked cartwheel. Found them. Found you. No, no, no. This has to be some kind of mistake. You're nobody. You're just trying to blend in, sip questionable beer, and maybe survive. The fleas. Yet somehow, you've become the star of tonight's tavern drama. The barkeep mutters again, this time louder. Best not make eye contact. Best not make any contact. But guess what? Too late. The entire room is already staring at you, as though you've just been accused of stealing the crown jewels. "Stand up," the man orders. Now here's the thing about medieval taverns. Nobody stands up voluntarily. If someone tells you to, it usually means you're about to get punched, stabbed, or recruited into something illegal. Sometimes all three at once. Your legs feel like soggy bread, but you push yourself upright. The bench groans under the sudden absence of your weight. The crowd shifts, murmuring. Some faces look curious, others pitying. A few almost excited, like they've been waiting all week for this kind of entertainment. "Come here," the man continues, motioning you forward. His companion, just as silent, just as sharp, adjusts. The hilt of his dagger, subtle, casual, deadly. You shuffle forward, each step sounding louder than it should on the sticky tavern floor. The smell of smoke, sweat, and spilled ale clings to you like a second skin. When you finally reach the table, the man gestures to the empty seat across from him. "Sit." You sit. What else can you do? He studies you for a long moment, as if weighing every twitch of your face, every bead of sweat on your brow. Then he leans forward, lowering his voice so only you can hear, though the entire tavern is still craning their necks, straining to catch a word. "You've been to the north, haven't you?" The north. Your mind scrambles like a drunk, trying to find the chamber pot in the dark. What does he mean? And why does he sound so certain? He doesn't wait for you to answer. Instead, he slides a small object across the table, a coin. At first glance, it looks ordinary, tarnished like any other. But as it catches the firelight, you see it's stamped with a strange crest, not one you recognize. A sun split down the middle, half shining, half dark. "You carried this," he says. "Or someone close to you did." Your stomach drops. You've never seen that coin before in your life. At least, you think you haven't. But why does it feel familiar? Like something from a half-forgotten dream. I don't know what you mean," you stammer. And the second the words leave your mouth, you know it's the wrong thing to say. His eyes narrow, suspicion flashing like steel. The companion finally speaks, his voice lower, raspier. "Lies smell worse than this tavern stew." Great. Just what you needed. Medieval Sherlock Holmes and his cranky partner, deciding whether or not you're lying, before either can say more. A crash erupts from the other side of the room. A fight has broken out again, but this time it's no drunken brawl. Two men are grappling, slamming each other against tables, sending ale flying. And at the center of it all, you notice something chilling. One of them is clutching a coin. The same coin, the split sun crest, glinting in the FIRELIGHT. The man across from you sees it too. His calm demeanor cracks for the first time. He stands so quickly his bench tips backward. His voice booms through the tavern. Stop him. The room explodes into chaos. Chairs scrape. Fists fly. The barkeep ducks behind the bar. You're caught in the middle of a storm you don't understand, watching as half the tavern surges toward the man with the coin, while the other half just tries not to get trampled. And for the first time, you realize something terrifying. This tavern isn't just a place to drink. It's a battlefield. A secret battlefield, where something much bigger than you is unfolding. And somehow, you've been dragged into it. The coin wielder shoves his attacker off, bolts toward the door, and in the briefest moment, his eyes meet yours. Wide, frantic, desperate. He mouths something you can't quite hear over the chaos, but it looks like one word, one name. Yours. Then he's gone, vanishing into the night. The tavern falls into stunned silence once more. All eyes shift back to you. The man in the cloak doesn't look calm anymore. He looks furious. What in God's name are you mixed up in? He demands. But the real question, the one you can't shake, is how that stranger knew your name when you've never seen him before in your life. The tavern is a wreck. Tables overturned, tankards rolling across the floor, a man snoring with his face in a puddle of ale, as though none of this concerns him. But despite the chaos, there's one object everyone's eyes keep returning to. The coin dot. It lies in the middle of the floor, half hidden under a broken chair leg. Catching the firelight in an unsettling way. That split sun emblem gleams like it's alive, like it's watching. Nobody dares touch it. The cloaked man strides forward, scoops it up between two fingers, and studies it with the grim patience of someone who's seen this before. He slams it down on the table in front of you so hard, the wood groans under the blow. This coin, he says, his voice cold enough to make your spine stiffen, is death. Not exactly the sales pitch you were hoping for. He leans in, close enough for you to smell the leather of his cloak, and the faint copper temps of blood on his gloves. Do you even know what you've stumbled into? I don't know anything, you blurt, because it's the truth. The second man, the one with the rasping voice, steps forward, shadow falling over you. He will know, or he already does, and doesn't realize it yet. The Brotherhood doesn't mark people by accident. That word brotherhood makes the hairs rise on the back of your neck. It doesn't sound like a group you'd want to bump into on a dark road. The cloaked man doesn't blink. He pulls another coin from his pocket and drops it beside the first. Identical. Same split sun. Same strange shimmer. Your chest tightens. 2 coins. Where did you get that? You whisper. His gaze doesn't waver. From a corpse. The rasping one tilts his head, voice low. Every coin belongs to a dead man. That's how they spread. The barkeep, who's been pretending to polish a mug that hasn't been cleaned since Christ was a boy, suddenly slams it down. His hands are trembling. Get him out of here, he hisses, eyes darting at you. Before the whole tavern goes under with him. That coin never brings anything but ruin. You make a move to stand, but the cloaked man's grip snaps to your arm like a vice, forcing you back down. If you walk into the night, you won't last an hour. They'll be waiting. They always are. They. Your voice cracks, sounding younger than you'd like. Neither answers, not in words. Instead, the cloaked man stares hard at you. The man who ran earlier. He wasn't a thief. He was a messenger. And if he knew your name, then the rest of them will know it soon too. Your stomach sinks. A messenger, carrying your name. To who? Why? Before you can form a thought, the tavern door crashes open. The man from earlier stumbles in, the one who bolted with the coin. He's barely standing. Blood slicks his face. His cloak hangs in tatters. His knees buckle and he collapses inside the doorway. Everyone rushes forward, but his words freeze the room solid. They're coming. Then he goes still. Dead. The tavern is silent, except for the crackle of the hearth and your own hammering heart. Outside, faint at first, you hear it. Boots, dozens of them, marching in rhythm, closing in. The cloaked man rises in one smooth motion, expression grim but controlled. He grips your arm harder. Time's up, they've found you. The rasping one unsheathes his dagger with a slow, practiced ease. We leave now, or we don't leave at all. The barkeep crosses himself. God save us. You glance at the dead man by the door, the coin gleaming on the table, the terrified faces of the regulars. And then you hear it, a heavy fist pounding against the tavern door. Once, twice, then a voice, sharp and commanding. Open. In the name of the Brotherhood. Your breath catches. You don't know who they are, or why they want you. But you know one thing. Once that door opens, nothing will ever be the same again. The pounding on the tavern door rattles the wood like it's about to splinter. Each thud echoes through your chest, syncing with your heartbeat. Around you, the tavern patrons are frozen, their eyes wide, their tankards forgotten mid-air. The cloaked man doesn't hesitate. He flips the table over with a crash, coins and spilled ale scattering, then shoves you down behind it. Stay low, don't breathe unless I tell you. The rasping one crouches beside the doorway, dagger gleaming in the firelight. His expression is calm, too calm, like a butcher sharpening his knife before market day. The door booms again. A deep voice calls out, "Open in the name of the Brotherhood. Hand over the marked one, and we will spare the rest." The room exhales. In terror. Marked one. That's you. Somehow, without asking, without deserving. You've become the cursed prize they've come to collect. The barkeep, shaking, dares to speak. "We don't want trouble here." "Then give us what we came for," the voice growls. "You know what happens if you refuse." The cloaked man whispers sharply, "Don't move. Don't make a sound." His hand hovers near the hilt of his sword. The door doesn't wait for permission. With a final thunderous crack, the hinges give way. The wood flies open, splinters raining across the room, and in march the Brotherhood. They're not soldiers, not exactly. They move too smoothly, too deliberately. Cloaks of deep gray hang over their armor, masks of polished iron cover their faces, each carved into an identical, expressionless stare. And on every breastplate, the same emblem stamped into the coin, a sun split in two. Half light, half shadow. They fan out in silence, boots pounding the sticky floor. The tavern shrinks around them. Patrons scatter into corners, pressing themselves against walls, whispering hurried prayers. The leader steps forward, taller than the rest, his mask edged in gold. His voice is calm, almost gentle, but it carries like a bell. "One among you carries the mark. Step forward now, and your suffering will be brief." Nobody moves. His gaze sweeps the room, landing finally on the overturned table. You're hiding. Place he knows. You don't know how, but he knows. The cloaked man beside you mutters a curse under his breath. They can smell fear. The rasping one rises to his feet, dagger drawn. "You want him?" he growls. "You'll have to cut through me first." The leader tilts his head slightly, studying him. So be it. What follows is chaos. Steel flashes, wood splinters, screams pierce the smoky air. The Brotherhood surges forward with chilling precision, blades slicing through the tavern's darkness. The rasping one moves like a shadow himself, ducking, striking, slashing throats with brutal efficiency. The cloaked man draws his sword, and the sound of steel meeting steel echoes like church bells at midnight. You crouch behind the table, heart hammering, every instinct screaming at you to run. But where? The Brotherhood blocks the door. The windows are barred. You're trapped in a cage of violence. A body slams against the table, rattling it violently. You flinch back, and when you dare to peek over, you see the barkeep lying on the ground, a blade through his chest. His wide eyes lock with yours for a fleeting, horrible second, before glazing over. Panic claws at your throat. This isn't just a raid, it's an execution. And you're the execution's main event. The cloaked man shouts, his voice cutting through the madness. "Move, back door." Before you can react, he grabs your arm and yanks you up. You stumble after him, weaving through overturned benches and broken mugs. The rasping one carves a path with his dagger, dropping two masked figures in quick succession. The Brotherhood notices. A command rings out. Don't let them escape. You burst through the back of the tavern into a narrow alley, the stench of waste and rot slamming into your nostrils. The night air is cold, damp, alive with the distant clanging of church bells. Behind you, the sounds of pursuit echo, boots, shouts, steel. You run, your lungs burn, your legs scream, but you don't stop. The cloaked man pulls you forward with the strength of someone who has dragged too many unwilling souls into too many fights. The rasping one brings up the rear, glancing back constantly, his dagger dripping in the moonlight. The alley twists and narrows, stone walls pressing close, shadows reaching out like claws. You risk a glance back and see them, masked figures pouring from the tavern. Moving in formation, relentless as a tide. They won't stop, you gasp. Panic clawing your throat. They never do. The cloaked man snaps. That's why you run. You skid around a corner, nearly toppling into a stack of barrels. The rasping one shoves them over, sending them crashing into the alley, slowing the pursuers by precious seconds. Finally, the cloaked man shoves you into a low doorway. Slamming it shut behind, you collapse against the wall, chest heaving, sweat and fear dripping from your skin. It's pitch dark inside. The smell of mildew and damp straw clings to the air. Rats scurry in the corners. For a moment, silence hangs heavy. Then the cloaked man lights a small lantern, its glow painting the cramped space in flickering gold. He stares at you, expression hard. Now do you understand? That coin was no accident. They've been waiting for you, watching you. You were marked long before. Tonight, your voice trembles. But why? I don't even know who they are. The rasping one closes the shutters, sealing the darkness tighter. His voice is low, grim. They are the Brotherhood of the Split Sun. And if they've chosen you, it means you carry something, whether you realize it or not. The cloaked man leans closer, his eyes burning with an intensity that makes you wish you'd stayed in the tavern. Tell me the truth. Did anyone give you something recently? A letter? A relic? A name whispered in passing? You rack your brain, but panic makes everything slippery. No, I don't remember. The cloaked man slams his fist against the wall, making you jump. Then remember fast. Because until we know why they want you, the rasping one finishes the thought, his dagger gleaming in the lantern light. You won't live to see another dawn. The lantern flickers in the cramped hideout, shadows crawling across the damp stone walls like living things. Your chest is still heaving from the sprint, your ears straining for any sound outside. The scrape of boots, the clash of steel, the Brotherhood's inhuman rhythm. But all you hear is silence. That's worse. The cloaked man leans against the wall, sword still drawn, his jaw clenched so tight, it looks like it might snap. The rasping one paces like a caged wolf, dagger spinning between his fingers in restless arcs of steel. Finally, the cloaked man speaks, voice low, but sharp enough to cut through the fear clogging your lungs. Listen carefully. You're not just unlucky. You're not some poor soul who stumbled into the wrong tavern at the wrong time. They were already looking for you. Tonight was no accident. I don't even know who they are. You protest, voice cracking. You do, the rasping one says flatly. He stops pacing, stares at you through the lantern's dim glow. You just don't realize it yet. That sends a cold shiver down your spine. I swear, I don't know anything about coins, or marks, or brotherhoods, or the cloaked man cuts you off. When was the last time you saw someone give you something, a stranger, a friend, a family member? Your mind scrambles. Images flash your uncle pressing a small wrapped parcel into your hand weeks ago, muttering "keep it safe," before vanishing down the road. The weary pilgrim who stopped you 3 nights back, slipping you a prayer bead and saying it would ward off the shadow. The nameless drunk who clapped you on the shoulder in the market and whispered something that sounded like a blessing or a warning. It all seemed meaningless at the time, but now I don't know, you stammer. There have been things, people, but I never thought the rasping one's eyes narrow. That's how it starts. They slip it onto you, in your pocket, in your drink, in your very name. And when the Brotherhood smells it, He gestures with the dagger toward the door. They come. The lantern sputters, almost as if reacting to the dread crawling up your spine. Suddenly, a sound outside breaks the suffocating silence. A metallic scrape. Boots, shifting on cobblestone. A voice, muffled but clear. Search every alley, they're here. The cloaked man blows out the lantern instantly, plunging you into darkness. Move, he whispers. Quietly, he leads you deeper into the building, through a warped wooden door, and into a passage that reeks of mold and rat droppings. The rasping one follows close behind. His dagger the only comfort in the oppressive dark. You stumble forward, blind, every nerve. Screaming. Above, faintly, you hear doors being kicked open, dogs barking. The Brotherhood tearing through the town like wolves hunting prey. And you know you are the prey. The passage twists and turns until it opens into a wider chamber. Some forgotten cellar, its ceiling low. Its floor littered with broken crates and old straw. Here, the cloaked man finally allows a sliver of light. He sparks flint, and a dull glow reveals carvings etched into the stone walls. Symbols, dozens of them. Your heart lurches. It's the same split sun emblem, scratched and scrawled over and over, layered on top of each other, until the walls feel alive with it. What is this place? You whisper. The cloaked man doesn't answer. He just stares at the carvings with a face carved in stone. The rasping one spits on the floor. Another of their holes. They've been here longer than anyone admits. You step closer, fingers brushing the cold stone. The markings feel rough, gouged deep, as though carved in desperation. Some look centuries old, others almost fresh. One in particular catches your eye. Not just a split sun, but words beneath it. Faint, faded, but legible. Your name scrawled into the wall. You stumble back as though burned. That's how the cloaked man's hand shoots out, steadying you. His face is grim. It's worse than I thought. How is my name on that wall? You demand, panic breaking your voice. They've been waiting, the rasping one says quietly. Marking the chosen long before the chosen even knows who they are. Chosen. The word makes bile rise in your throat. The cloaked man finally meets your eyes. You don't have to believe us. But that name on the wall means one thing. This isn't chance. You were born into this. Your knees feel weak. You want to laugh, to deny it, to say this is some trick. But the weight in their eyes tells you it's no joke. The silence is shattered by a crash, above wood, splintering voices, barking orders. The Brotherhood has found the building. The cloaked man doesn't waste a second. He grabs you by the shoulder, yanking you toward a hidden trapdoor in the far corner. If you want to live, you come with us, now. The rasping one drops into the blackness first, dagger ready. You hesitate, staring one last time at your name carved into the wall, glowing faintly in the lantern's dying light. Then the cloaked man shoves you, and you tumble down into darkness. The fall knocks the air out of you. You hit the ground hard, dust choking your lungs, the stale cold wrapping itself around your skin like a shroud. For a second, you just lie there in the dark, the silence pressing down. Then, above you here, the cloaked man slammed the trapdoor shut, just as boots thunder into the chamber overhead. Down, he hisses, dropping beside you with the quiet grace of someone used to moving in shadows. Stay low, don't breathe loud. You don't need to be told twice. The rasping one crouches just ahead, his dagger gleaming faintly in the lantern glow. He now shields with his palm. The little flame throws long, hungry shadows across the walls, revealing where you've landed, a narrow tunnel carved from damp stone, stretching both ways into black infinity. The stench is immediate. Old rot, standing water, rusted iron, and beneath it all, a deeper, older smell, the kind that sticks to your tongue. Metallic and wrong. They'll search this place, the cloaked man mutters, listening to the muffled chaos above. But they won't come down here. Not if they can help it. That sentence unsettles you more than anything else. Not if they can help it. What kind of place are you in, that even the Brotherhood hesitates to enter? You whisper, voice trembling. What is this? The rasping one smirks, though his eyes are dead serious. The bones under the bones. Every city has them. Old foundations, abandoned catacombs, forgotten wells, places people sealed away because they were never meant to be walked again. He leans closer, his voice dropping lower. This city grew, on top of its own grave, and now we're crawling through its ribs. Your stomach knots. The sound of dripping water echoes endlessly, each drop magnified until it feels like the tunnels themselves are breathing. Somewhere far ahead, a faint scrape echoes too deliberate to be water. The cloaked man gestures forward. We move, quiet. And whatever you do, don't touch the walls. That last instruction makes your skin crawl. You glance at the stone, slick with moss, scarred with faint etchings. Not just the split sun, though there are plenty of those. Other symbols too. Some jagged, some curved like hooks. Some that seem to shift when the lantern light brushes them. You pull your hand back quickly, hugging yourself tight. The three of you move deeper, your footsteps crunching on grit and broken bones you try not to recognize. The rasping one keeps ahead, dagger low, eyes sharp. The cloaked man lingers behind you, as if shielding your back. The deeper you go, the colder it gets. Not the natural chill of underground stone, but a biting cold that seeps into your marrow. The air feels thinner, harder to breathe. Finally, the rasping one halts at a junction where 3 tunnels split off. He kneels, studying the floor. The dirt is scuffed, disturbed. They've used this passage recently, he mutters. You whisper. Not the Brotherhood, the cloaked man says quietly. Something older. Your skin prickles. He doesn't elaborate. Instead, he pulls something from his cloak, a piece of chalk, and marks the wall with a small symbol, before motioning to the leftmost tunnel. This way. You don't want to follow. Every instinct screams to turn back, to climb up into the relative safety of the Brotherhood's hunt, rather than walk into this crawling dark. But your legs betray you, following the glow of the lantern like a moth. The tunnel narrows, forcing you to duck. Your shoulder brushes the wall by accident, and the stone burns. You yank back with a strangled cry, cradling your arm. In the lantern light, you see a red mark seared into your skin, as though the wall itself branded you. The cloaked man grabs your wrist, inspecting it. His face tightens. Don't touch again. These walls remember, and they don't like being disturbed. Your pulse hammers. You want to ask what he means, but the rasping one suddenly stiffens, raising a hand for silence. From ahead, down the black throat of the tunnel, comes a sound that freezes you in place. Not footsteps, not dripping water, a whisper, a voice carried, on no air, chosen. The lantern flickers violently, shadows clawing the walls. The rasping one grips his dagger tighter, muttering something under his breath in a language you don't recognize. The cloaked man simply shakes his head. Keep walking, don't answer. But the voice grows clearer as you move, as though walking toward it pulls it from the stone itself. The sun, the split, the marked one. It's speaking to you. You feel it in your bones, crawling through your veins. Sweat beads on your forehead, your legs weak, but you force yourself forward. Clinging to the small circle of lantern light, like a drowning man to driftwood, the tunnel opens abruptly into a vast chamber. You freeze at the sight. It's a crypt. Dozens of stone coffins line the walls, their lids cracked, their surfaces carved with the same cursed sun emblem. Some have been shattered open, bones spilling like discarded kindling. Others seem occupied still. The air reeks of dust, and something worse, decay, that has no business being this fresh. At the chamber's center stands a great pillar, covered entirely in carvings, spirals, eyes, suns, split and bleeding. And at its base, a pool of black water rippling despite the stillness of the air. The cloaked man lowers the lantern slightly, his face pale. We shouldn't linger, but before you can move, you see something in the water. A reflection, not yours, not theirs. A face staring back at you, pale, eyeless, grinning. You stumble back, heart hammering, breath catching in your throat. The rasping one curses, dragging you away from the pool. Don't look at it, he snarls. It's how they find you. They. You rasp neither answers. Instead, they shove you toward another tunnel on the far side of the chamber. The cloaked man throws one last look at the pillar before spitting on the ground. If the Brotherhood doesn't kill us, this place will. You don't dare look back. But as you're pulled into the next tunnel, the whisper follows, clinging to your ears like cobwebs. We've been waiting. The tunnel ahead feels endless. Your lungs burn with every shallow breath. The air here thicker, almost syrupy, as though it resists being drawn in. The lantern flame gutters, barely clinging to life, and with each flicker the shadows seem to crawl closer. The rasping one pushes forward, every step silent, every muscle taut like a predator stalking prey. The cloaked man lingers close to you, his voice low, urgent. Do not fall behind. Do not speak. Do not listen. But the whispering doesn't stop. If anything, it grows clearer, weaving itself into your skull. Sometimes it sounds like one voice, sometimes many. Sometimes it feels like your own voice, repeating from far ahead. Come closer. The mark burns brightest in you. The sun must break. You clutch your arm where the wall seared you earlier. The skin throbs hot beneath your sleeve. And for a terrible second you imagine something writhing there, just under the surface. The rasping one halts suddenly. You nearly crash into him. He's crouched low, dagger raised, eyes scanning the tunnel ahead. Then you see it too. Faint scratches on the wall, fresh like claws dragged through the stone itself. They're active down here, he mutters. Then we should turn back, you whisper, though your voice cracks. No. The cloaked man's tone is sharp, final. The Brotherhood above is searching every street, every room. They won't stop until they find you. The only way out now. He nods into the darkness ahead, is through. The words sink into you like stones. Through meaning deeper, meaning worse. Still you move. Because the alternative is capture. And you've already seen how merciless those men are. The tunnel finally widens into a corridor lined with archways. Each arch leads into a small alcove, and inside each alcove rests a stone figure. Not statues. Effigies, crude, humanoid shapes, their faces chiseled into grotesque parodies of human features. Their mouths hang open, and some are filled with something black and hardened, like tar. You can't stop staring. They look wrong, too lifelike in places. The curve of a lip, the angle of a hand, as if whoever carved them started with stone, but finished with something else. The cloaked man notices your gaze. Don't touch, he warns again, his voice trembling despite himself. The rasping one spits on the ground. Idols, old faith. The Brotherhood didn't build over these halls by accident. They were claiming this place. But the roots were already too deep. The phrase old faith makes your stomach twist. You think of the split sun carved on doors, on coffins, on walls that burn flesh. What kind of faith worships that? The whispers surge suddenly, louder, as though they've been waiting for this exact place. Kneel before the broken sun. Open what was sealed. We remember. Your knees nearly buckle. It feels less like hearing and more like being dragged by the voice, your body wanting to obey, despite your terror. The cloaked man grabs you, shaking hard. Fight it. They prey on weakness. Breathe. Stay present. You nod, choking down panic. But your eyes betray you. They flick toward the nearest idol. For an instant you swear its stone head turns, just slightly, its open mouth, yawning wider, then a sound, a scraping, dragging sound, echoing down the corridor behind you. Slow, heavy, wet. The rasping one curses, shoving the lantern into the cloaked man's hands. Keep moving. I'll slow it. No, the cloaked man growls. If you stay, you won't come back. The rasping one bares his teeth in something that's half grin, half snarl. Then light a candle for me, priest. And before you can protest, he slips back into the dark, dagger glinting once before vanishing. The cloaked man grips your shoulder. His voice is strained, urgent. We can't help him. If we stop, we die too. Run, and you do. The corridor narrows, forcing you to duck, stumble, scrape your hands raw against the stone. The whispering grows deafening, no longer words but a chorus, a tide crashing inside your skull. You want to scream, but the cloaked man drags you forward. His strength, the only thing tethering you to motion at last. The passage opens again, into a chamber vast enough to swallow the lantern light hole. The walls disappear into blackness. But at the center stands something impossible. A door. Not wood. Not stone. Something else. A surface like black glass, taller than 3 men, set into the earth itself. Its face is covered in carvings. The split sun spirals, jagged runes. Some glow faintly, pulsing like embers. You freeze. Every nerve in your body screams to turn back. This isn't a door. It's a wound. The cloaked man stares at it, his jaw clenched. So it's true, he whispers. They never destroyed it. They only buried it. What? What is it? You manage. He swallows hard. The Black Gate, sealed when the first stones of this city were laid. Sealed because of what waits on the other side. The whispers surge again, pressing against your skull from every angle. But this time, they don't sound hostile. They sound inviting, almost gentle. You were chosen. Open it. The sun must bleed. Your arm burns fiercely where the wall scarred you. The mark throbs in rhythm with the glowing runes on the gate. You realize with horror what it means. The door responds to you. The cloaked man sees it too. His face hardens. No, you will not open it. Do you hear me? He grabs your arm, trying to pull you back, but the heat sears hotter, and the runes flare brighter in answer. It feels like standing at the edge of a storm, the pull irresistible. A terrible thought roots in your mind. If you touched it, just once, everything would make sense. The cloaked man yanks you hard, dragging you away. Fight it. That's not a voice, it's a hunger. But even as he pulls you back, the door begins to hum, a low vibration shaking the stones beneath your feet. The chamber air thickens, heavy with anticipation. Somewhere in the dark, behind you the dragging sound returns, closer now. The rasping one did not stop it. You are trapped between the thing hunting you in the tunnels, and the gate that seems to know your name. And for the first time, you wonder if the brotherhood chasing you above was the lesser of your enemies all along. The humming doesn't stop. The black gate shudders with a low, steady rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, and the runes carved across its glassy surface glow brighter with every second. You feel the vibration in your bones, in your teeth, in the scars burning along your arm. The cloaked man drags you into the shadow of a broken archway, away from the direct pull of the gate. His hand clamps over your mouth as the dragging sound draws closer, echoing like wet chains across the stone floor. You both stay frozen, breaths shallow, while the noise drags past the entrance of the chamber. The cloaked man leans close, whispering so softly you almost don't hear it. That was not made for us to understand. It was made to feed. Your heart pounds. When the sound fades again into the tunnels, he finally releases you. His eyes, shadowed under his hood, are wide and fever bright. You need to understand, he says, his voice trembling with urgency. That mark on your arm, it's no accident. It is a calling. And that gate knows you because of it. Your mind reels. Why me? Why any of this? He takes a long, unsteady breath. Because the split sun is not just a symbol, it's a covenant. Centuries ago, before this city, before the Brotherhood, there was another faith here. They worshipped the sun not as one, but as 2 halves, light and dark, creation and destruction, a cycle unbroken. You shake your head. That doesn't mean anything. It means everything. His whisper hisses with desperation. They believed the true sun was wounded, torn in half, the bright half we see each day, and the black half, hidden beneath. The old rites promised that when both halves bled together again, the world would be remade. Not ended, but remade. His words chill you more than the damp air. You glance toward the black gate. Its surface ripples faintly, as if it were not stone or glass but something alive, flexing in answer to his words. You think that thing is the dark half of the sun, you whisper. He shakes his head. Not the sun itself, but a vessel. A wound carved into the earth, where the black half bleeds through. The ancients built the gate to contain it, and when they sealed it, they marked the stone so only those touched by the covenant could open it again. The burn in your arm throbs harder, pulsing in time with the gate. You clench your fist, trying to ignore it. Why me? You demand. I never asked for this. No one asks, he says bitterly. The mark chooses. Passed through bloodlines, through forgotten bargains. Sometimes it lies dormant for generations, and then, suddenly, it wakes. A sick dread coils in your stomach. You think of your family or mother's stories of strange dreams, your father's refusal to speak of his ancestors, the way neighbors whispered about odd happenings in your house. The cloaked man sees the realization dawning in you. You were born into it, and now the Brotherhood knows. That's why they hunted you. Not to kill you, not yet. They want you to open the gate. The chamber seems to tilt, the weight of his words pressing you toward the dark door. You shake your head violently. No, I won't. I can't. His grip on your shoulders tightens, forcing your eyes to meet his. Then fight it. Because if you give in, if you so much as lay your hand on that surface, it will not be you who walks away. Do you understand? The gate hums louder, as though mocking his warning. The whispers return, soft but insistent, threading into your skull. He lies. We will not harm you. Open, and be whole again. You clap your hands to your ears, but the voices press inward, ignoring flesh and bone. You feel tears sting your eyes from the pressure. The cloaked man grips your arm and begins chanting low, rhythmic words in a language you don't recognize. The voices falter, just slightly, as if repelled by his words. They twist truth, he gasps. They wear kindness like a mask, but underneath, he doesn't finish. His gaze flicks to the gate again, and for the first time, you see real fear in him, not just caution, not just discipline. Raw fear. The dragging sound returns, closer now. You both whirl toward the passage. Something is coming back into the chamber. But this time, the cloaked man doesn't move to hide. Instead, he pulls a small pouch from beneath his cloak and scatters its contents across the floor in a rough circle around you both. Powder gray and sharp-smelling, like ash mixed with iron filings. The moment it touches the ground, the whispers recede again, snarling at the edges of your mind, but unable to push through. He sags, exhausted. This won't hold long, but it buys us a moment. You stare at him, voice breaking. What do we do? Where do we go? His eyes flick to the black gate, then to the passage where the dragging sound grows louder. He clenches his jaw. Neither path leads to safety, he admits. But there may still be a way to sever the covenant, to burn the mark from your flesh, before the gate fully awakens to you. Your heart leaps with fragile hope. You can do that. His silence is heavy. Finally, he says, maybe, but it will require fire, blood, and a name. The word name hangs in the air like a blade. Before you can ask what he means, the dragging grows impossibly loud, echoing like thunder across stone. You see movement at the edge of the lantern, light something massive and shifting, too tall for the passage. It squeezes through. The cloaked man seizes your arm again. Decide quickly, he hisses. Face what hunts us in the dark, or face what calls you from the gate. The chamber trembles, caught between two horrors. Your choice looms, and either way, you know one truth. There is no turning back. The dragging sound is no longer distant. It fills the chamber now, rattling the air like chains scraping against bone. The lantern flame trembles violently, as if it too can sense what approaches. You grip your scarred arm without realizing it, nails digging into flesh as the cloaked man lowers into a crouch. Every muscle coiled like a cornered animal. And then, from the narrow throat of the passage, it emerges. At first all you see is shadow, a vast shifting silhouette that moves, with an unnatural weight. Then the lantern light glances across its surface, and the shape resolves into something that should not exist. Its body is tall, impossibly tall, hunched to fit the cavern ceiling. Limbs too long for symmetry drag against the stone, and every joint bends not once, but twice, like broken hinges reassembled wrong. Its head scrapes the top of the tunnel as it lumbers forward, and with each step comes the sound, not chains, but nails. Hundreds of long rusted nails hammered through its flesh, scraping the walls and floor as it moves. Its skin hangs in sheets, blackened like old parchment. And beneath it you glimpse the dull shine of bone. But it is its face that freezes you in place, where a mouth should be. There is only a vertical slit running from jaw to brow, stitched crudely, with wire that groans as it flexes. No eyes, no nose, just that obscene seam, twitching as though it longs to tear open. And as it steps into the chamber, the air fills with a low, wet breathing. Though you see no chest rise, no lungs at work, the cloaked man grips your shoulder, hard. Do not look at it directly, he whispers. Do not listen to it. But you can't look away. Something about it draws your gaze like gravity, the wrongness of its form demanding attention. And then, faintly, from the slit in its face, you hear a sound that is not its dragging steps. A voice. Help me. It's faint, broken, as if someone were screaming from deep inside a coffin. You stagger back. Did you hear that? It's the cloaked man cuts you off, hissing. That is not a voice. That is bait. The creature turns its faceless head toward you, though it should not know where you stand. The seam in its skull twitches again, straining against the wire. A single strand of rusted metal snaps loose, and from the gap leaks a pale, flickering glow. Not light, exactly. More like the reflection of light on water, shifting, hypnotic. Your scar burns hotter. So hot, you almost scream. The cloaked man drags you deeper into the circle of ash. The creature steps closer, its nails shrieking against stone. But when it nears the circle's edge, it halts, jerking as though some invisible barrier stops it. The ash flares, a faint glow radiating outward, and the thing lets out a sound halfway between a hiss and a sob. The cloaked man exhales sharply. The ash holds. For now, the creature paces just beyond the circle, its movements twitching, wrong, like a marionette pulled by drunken hands. It lowers itself closer to the ground, pressing that stitched seam toward you, please. It hurts your stomach knots. It sounds human, a man desperate, begging. Against your will, your body leans forward, almost ready to step across. The ashdot, the cloaked man, grips your wrist so hard you feel bone grind. That is how it feeds. It pulls the pity from your chest and replaces it with a hook. If you cross that line, it will wear you. Your head swims. The gate hums behind you, its rhythm quickening, as if delighted by the presence of this abomination. And then you realize the thing is not just some stray horror in the ruins. It is tied to the gate. The cloaked man confirms it, voice low. They call it a keeper, bound to guard the wound. It has no will of its own, only hunger. The Brotherhood loosed it to find you, to drive you here. The keeper tilts its head, the seam splitting wider with the sound of tearing wire. More pale glow seeps through, and with it, a deeper voice layers over the desperate one. You belong to us. The cloaked man shouts a word you don't understand, and the ash flares brighter. The keeper recoils, letting out a distorted scream that rattles your skull. But even in its pain, you feel the pull. Its voice seeps into your mind, warming through your thoughts, whispering of release, of answers, of the unbearable relief of surrender. Your knees buckle. You almost collapse into the ash. The cloaked man catches you. His voice is ragged, urgent. Listen to me. That mark on your arm is a door, and it is trying to open it through you. If you give in, even for a heartbeat, the gate will claim you. The keeper thrashes against the circle, nails sparking as they scrape stone. The chamber shakes. Dust rains from the ceiling. The ash flickers dimmer now, as if the powder is losing its strength. The cloaked man curses under his breath. We don't have long. You choke out the question that has haunted you since the mark first burned. Then what do I do? He looks at you, his face pale, lips trembling with the weight of his next words. Choose, the fire, or the gate. Your mouth dries. The keeper slams against the ash again, and cracks spiderweb through the circle. Its voice rises into a chorus, dozens, hundreds of voices layered together. Men, women, children, all crying from behind the stitched seam. Open it. Join us. Free us. The gate pulses brighter, each rune glowing like molten veins. Your arm burns as if a hot brand were pressed to it. You are trapped between two hungers, the gate calling with promises of wholeness, the keeper begging with voices that sound human, pleading real. The cloaked man grips your face in both hands, forcing you to look only at him. His eyes blaze with desperate intensity. If you listen to them, He says, "You will die. But worse than death, you will not be yours anymore. Do you hear me?" The ash circle fractures. The keeper howls, the seam ripping wider, light spilling like fluid onto the stone. The gate thrums in answer, louder, brighter, alive, and you realize, with sick clarity, that your choice can't be delayed. You must decide now. The cracks spread through the ash like veins of lightning. Each fissure snuffs out part of the circle's glow, until what was once a barrier feels more like a brittle thread, fragile, doomed. The keeper presses closer, its nails sparking. As they drag against stone, its slit face trembling with unbearable tension. The wires strain, one by one, until another snaps loose. The pale glow behind its seam floods brighter. The voices intensify. What had been faint cries are now a storm inside your head. Men pleading for freedom, women wailing in grief, children sobbing. Each word is a knife scraping against your thoughts, cutting deeper, drawing you toward them. Open us. We are. We are waiting. Your mark blazes, the flesh boiling as if something beneath the skin claws upward. You clutch your arm, but it does nothing. The pain spreads through your chest, up your throat, into your skull. The gate behind you pulses in rhythm, each throb stronger than the last. You are not imagining it anymore. The mark and the gate are linked. The cloaked man is shouting something, words not meant for human tongues. He hurls a powder from his satchel onto the failing circle, and the ash sputters with a dying flame. But the keeper slams against it again, and with a sound like glass shattering, the barrier collapses. The glow vanishes. The keeper steps through. The chamber shakes with its weight. The seam in its face splits wider, glowing light pouring into the darkness. Its body twitches and jerks, limbs bending with grotesque precision. Nails shrieking. It is inside. The cloaked man shoves you backward. Do not listen. Do not answer it. But the voices are louder now, deafening, filling every corner of your skull. They don't just speak, they know you. You hear your mother's voice, your father's friends. You lost, strangers you never knew, all of them crying your name. "Salman, please, save us," you stagger, nearly collapsing, the heat in your arm unbearable. The gate burns at your back. The keeper towers before you, faceless, yet somehow seeing you. Feeding on every flicker of hesitation, the cloaked man throws himself at it, knife flashing in his hand. He slashes at one of its elongated arms, and the blade bites deep. Black ichor sprays, sizzling as it hits the ground. The keeper lets out a scream that is not a scream at all, more like the roar of a collapsing cathedral, stone grinding on stone. The sound drops you to your knees. Your ears bleed. The cloaked man staggers, clutching his skull, but he forces himself upright again. He stabs once more, shouting words of command. The keeper shudders, recoiling, but it does not fall. It turns its faceless head toward you. The seam splits open wider, and now you see something beyond the glow. Shapes. Faces pressed against the inside of its skull. Mouths screaming soundlessly, eyes wide with terror. Dozens of trapped souls, fused into its flesh. Join us. Free us. The cloaked man screams. It wants you. It needs you. Do not give it your name. Your body trembles. The mark on your arm feels like it will burst. You hear your own voice, inside your head, whispering back to the keeper, even though you never spoke aloud. What if they're telling the truth? What if those are real souls, begging for release? The gate pulses in reply, as if mocking the thought. The runes flare, bathing the chamber in searing crimson light. You feel the pull, not gentle, but commanding. The gate does not beg. It demands. The cloaked man grabs your shoulders, shaking you violently. His face is streaked with blood from his ears, his eyes wild with desperation. Listen to me. There is no mercy in that thing. No salvation. It is a maw, a prison. If you let it speak through you, it will hollow you out. Behind him, the keeper looms wounded but undeterred. It drags its nails along the stone, sparks flying, the sound like iron screaming. It bends low, lowering that ghastly slit to your height. You smell it now, not rot, not blood, but ash. Like the aftermath of a burned city. The voices reach their crescendo. We are family. We are truth. Open, open. And in that instant you understand, both the gate and the keeper are pulling at you, warring for the same thing, your soul, your body, the mark that binds you. The cloaked man's words echo in your mind, choose, the fire, or the gate. But choice does not wait for clarity. It is forced upon you. The keeper lashes out, one massive arm sweeping toward you, nails shrieking. The cloaked man intercepts it, his body slammed against the wall with a sickening crack. His knife clatters to the ground. Blood pours from his mouth, but even broken, he gasps, "Don't let it take you." The gate blazes, like a living sun. Your mark bursts open, flesh splitting, light spilling from the wound. You scream, but the sound is swallowed by the roar of the chamber. The keeper lunges, scene tearing wide, faces screaming louder, the glow pouring over you. You have seconds, no time to think, only to act. Do you step toward the fire, trusting the cloaked man's words? Or do you turn to the gate, surrendering to its impossible promise of wholeness? The chamber splits in two, before your eyes on one side, the keeper reaching a storm of broken voices. On the other, the gate yawning open, its runes unfurling like wings of fire. Both paths demand you. Both will change you forever. Your body moves. Your decision is made. The world does not wait for hesitation. The moment your body moves, reality itself shifts. The chamber howls, light fractures into jagged shards, and your choice slams into existence like a hammer into stone. You don't remember deciding. Your body chose before your mind caught up. Instinct, or maybe destiny, whichever master has been guiding you since the mark first burned your flesh. The gate shudders in response. Runes searing brighter than molten steel. Its massive stone arch splits open, wider than before, vomiting light that feels alive, tendrils of fire licking across the floor like hunting serpents. Your mark pulses in perfect rhythm, no longer resisting. It is answering the keeper roars, its faceless slit flaring wide in protest. The trapped faces within writhe, their mouths tearing open in silent screams, as if your decision just sealed their doom. It charges, nails shrieking, its massive frame convulsing in rage, but the gate does not allow it. The fire leaps from your wound, stretching outward, a living chain that wraps around the keeper's limbs. The beast shrieks, struggling, its elongated arms tearing against the fiery bindings. The air fills with the stink of burning ichor, like scorched iron and blood. Your body is no longer your own. You feel taller, heavier, filled with something not human. The voice of the gate is inside you now, not whispering like the keeper's. Stolen souls, but commanding. Stand, bind, break. The words rumble through your bones. You raise your arm without meaning to, and the keeper is yanked violently backward, its body slamming into the wall. Stone cracks under the force. It thrashes, but the fire tightens like a noose. The cloaked man, broken and bleeding on the ground, stares at you with wide, horrified eyes. He tries to speak, but can only cough blood. His gaze tells you everything. Whatever you are becoming, it terrifies even him. The keeper screams again, but the sound is changing. The roar turns shrill, desperate. The face is pressed into its flesh claw at the glowing seam from inside, as if trying to escape its prison. For a moment, your heart twists. You see them, children, women, men, their eyes pleading. They reach for you, mouths moving silently, and for one horrible second, you think you recognize one of them. Your breath catches. It looks like someone you once knew. A face from your childhood, impossible and cruel, staring at you from inside the keeper's skin. Don't look at them, the cloaked man croaks. It's not real, it's bait. But the gate disagrees. Its voice floods you. Again, they are not yours. Burn them. End it. Your arm blazes. The fire bursts brighter, engulfing the keeper completely. Its body convulses, ichor raining down like burning tar, its arms tearing free, only to be bound again by living chains of fire. It screams one last time, and then the seam splits open fully. Not wide enough to free the faces, but wide enough to unleash a shockwave of light. The chamber rattles like an earthquake. You are knocked back, your vision shattering into fragments. For a moment, you see nothing but fire. And then silence. When your sight clears, the keeper is gone. Not slain, not destroyed, simply erased. The chamber reeks of ash. Its faceless presence lingers only as a smear of shadow against the wall. Fading slowly, the gate dims, satisfied. Its runes still pulse, but softer now, like a predator that has eaten your body collapses. You gasp, clutching your chest, your skin steaming with residual fire. Your mark has changed. What was once a twisted rune is now a clean, seared brand, sharp lines, flawless, glowing faintly as though alive. The cloaked man drags himself closer, leaving a trail of blood behind. He grips your arm, staring at the brand with wide, desperate eyes. You chose the gate, he whispers, his voice cracking. Do you understand what you've done? You want to answer, but your throat is raw, every word you try to form, collapsing into silence. The gate answers for you, whispering. In your mind, he fears you. He fears us. He is right to fear. The man trembles. It will never stop now. The keeper was only a herald. The gate will open fully, and you. He coughs, blood splattering the stone. You are its hand. You stagger back, shaking, trying to reject the thought. But deep inside, you feel it. The connection is no longer one of chains. It is symbiosis. The gate isn't just bound to you. It is part of you now. The chamber groans, dust falling from above. Cracks snake across the ceiling, stone trembling as if the entire manor is shifting in protest. The gate's runes flare again, faint but insistent, and you understand, it isn't done. It wants out. The cloaked man collapses beside you, too weak to rise. His voice is almost gone, but he forces the words through his shattered body. You can still resist. You can still shut it before it takes everything. The gate answers instantly, drowning his words in thunder. Lie, he lies. He wants to bury us. You are ours, and we are yours. Together, we open what was closed. The mark burns again, and you feel something stirring beyond the gate. Not just voices this time, but pressure, a vast unseen weight pressing against the stone, straining for release. Whatever lies beyond wants to step through. Your hands tremble. The chamber shakes harder. Dust rains from above. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the sound of footsteps, as if others are being drawn here by the noise, by the awakening. The cloaked man seizes your wrist, his bloodied eyes staring into yours, with the last flicker of strength he has left. You can't serve it, he hisses. If you do, the world burns. Everyone burns. But the gate whispers sweeter, stronger, filling your skull with promise. Burn, yes, but rebuild. We offer truth, power, eternity. You will be the first of the last. The chamber quakes again. The gate groans like a living thing, the runes cracking, light searing through every line. And then it happens. The gate speaks your name, not in whispers, not in fragments. In a perfect, thunderous voice that shakes the marrow in your bones. Salmon. The chamber explodes with light. The sound of your name is not sound at all. It is vibration, shuddering through bone, marrow, thought. Every letter is a hammer striking the inside of your skull, carving itself into your flesh. You fall to your knees, clutching your head, but the name will not stop echoing. The gate has spoken you into existence differently. Before this, you were human. Now you are marked in a way no man can undo. The light pouring from the arch stretches longer, crawling across the chamber floor like rivers of molten fire. The runes tremble as though struggling to contain something vast, something eager. From the other side of the gate comes pressure. You feel it not with your eyes but your lungs, as if the air itself is being pushed out of the world to make room for what waits beyond. The crack widens with a grinding groan, stone splitting as if it were bone under a saw. The cloaked man, sprawled and bleeding beside you, tries to drag himself away. His body trembles with each surge of light. He raises one arm toward you, his voice shredded raw. Stop it. Do you hear me? Don't answer it. If it crosses, nothing will survive. But you cannot stop hearing it. The gate's voice weaves around his words, silencing them with velvet thunder. He clings to the dying world. We are the new one. You are the bridge, Salmon. You are chosen. The first. The key. Your body shakes violently. The brand on your arm burns, the fire inside it lancing into your veins, searing pathways through flesh and sinew. You scream, but the sound is not your own. It vibrates at two pitches at once. Your human voice, and something deeper, otherworldly. Spilling through your throat, the air fractures, not breaks, not bends. Fractures, like glass splintering under invisible force. Thin cracks spiderweb across the space in front of the gate, glowing with pale blue light, as though reality itself is thinning. And then, it touches through. At first, it looks like a finger, not flesh, not bone. A shape made of shifting shadow and flame, pressing against the fractured air. The chamber drops in temperature instantly, the fire's heat collapsing into frost that bites your lungs. You can see your breath plume in white clouds as your body convulses against the force. The cloaked man shrieks, voice shredding. No, no, not here, not now. He claws at the floor, dragging his ruined body toward the arch, as though his frail flesh could bar the passage. The gate laughs. You hear it ripple through your blood, not cruel, but delighted. As if watching a child protest against the tide. Witness become, rise. The finger presses harder, the fractures widen. From beyond the split, a sound bellows out, not a roar, not a scream, but something between the grinding of mountains and the wail of a dying star. You choke, ears bleeding, as the chamber itself tries to resist the frequency. Stone cracks. Dust falls like rain. The ceiling trembles. The shadow hand pushes further. Now you see more, not one finger, but several. A hand of impossible scale, reaching, its edges blur, as though it exists half in this world and half beyond, dripping shadow and fire onto the stones. Each drop burns holes straight through the floor, sizzling into nothingness. The cloaked man hurls himself forward, slamming both hands onto the runes at the base of the arch. His body convulses violently as power lashes him, but he does not let go. His scream is deafening, his flesh burning against the stone, but he holds. The gate snarls, light flaring in fury. Traitor, worm, you think you bind us. The runes flash violently, brighter than before, and for a heartbeat the crack halts. The shadow hand trembles, straining but stuck halfway through. The cloaked man's eyes, burning with agony, lock onto yours. Now, he screams. You can seal it. Burn the mark. Sacrifice it. That's the only way. But the gate answers before you can think. Seal, and you die. Seal, and you erase us, and all we promised. Power, eternity, to command life and death. Do not listen. You clutch your arm, the brand glowing like molten iron. The fire inside it swells, alive, begging for release. The choice claws at you, tearing your mind into two. Behind the crack, something larger moves. The hand is not alone. An eye appears, enormous, lidless, made of black fire and liquid stars. It presses against the fracture, searching, and when it sees you, truly sees you, your heart stops beating for 3 seconds, because it recognizes. You dot the same way the gate spoke your name. This thing knows you. You are not unknown to it. You are familiar. It gazes into you, and the voice of the gate twists, deepening, doubling, becoming its voice. To Salmon Bridge, vessel, open to us. We will wear you, and through you, the world. The cloaked man is collapsing, his body flayed by light. Blood gushes from his eyes, his mouth, his fingers burned to bone, but still he screams, seal it. Do it now, or it steps through. Your mark burns hotter, screaming with hunger. If you channel it, you could close the crack, but it will eat you alive. Or you could give in, release it fully. Let the gate and the thing behind it pour through. The chamber quakes harder. Rocks fall from above, crashing around you. The entire manor feels ready to implode. The choice again is thrust upon you. Seal and die. Open and become. Your body trembles between both fates.